You know, while we're covering all these doomsday scenarios, this one's out of the Telegraph. I couldn't believe this headline, but this is the kind of crap that they spew. Spacecraft capable of saving the world from a catastrophic asteroid collision has been designed by British space scientists. Now, I know there's a bunch of you out there clapping and applauding that the Armageddon-type scenario has finally been taken care of. Yes, we won't have to send Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck on an asteroid to destroy it. We've got an aircraft. But come on, folks. I mean, give me a break. I mean, are we that worried about catastrophic asteroid collisions? You would think that we should have a surface-to-air missile that could take these things outside of our atmosphere. Wouldn't you think that, Hoosh? I mean, wouldn't you think that that would be the way to go? Not some kind of crazy spacecraft that's going to blow things up that are going to hurt us. Heroic missions to stop life on Earth from being wiped out by an asteroid have become a favorite theme for Hollywood disaster films. Now a team of British engineers have designed a real-life spacecraft to save the world from destruction. The invention, called the gravity tractor, would be deployed when an orbiting rock is detected on a collision course with Earth. The spacecraft would intercept the asteroid and position itself to fly alongside it just 160 feet from its surface. From this position, a 10-ton craft is able to exert a small gravitational force on the rock, pulling the asteroid towards it. By gradually modifying its course over several years, the gravity tractor is able to slowly shift the asteroid's trajectory enough to ensure that it misses Earth. You know, if we're going to have a Star Wars program, if we're going to have all these space weapons, shouldn't those weapons, you know, be to protect the populace? You know, maybe to blast out asteroids instead of blast people from space? I just think this is ludicrous, and I don't know. I had to cover it because I was just like, are you kidding me? Is this what's making the news? Is this what's reality? Has fear gotten to us so big time that we are going to, you know, base our scientific achievements on Jerry Bruckheimer films? I mean, I can't stand Bruckheimer. I'm not a total hater. Hey, I like Top Gun as much as the next guy. But these films are always over the top and just totally ridiculous. If you're telling me that we can't blow an asteroid out of the sky with some kind of a weapon, and instead we have to build a craft which is going to change its trajectory, I'm just not buying it. Maybe I'm just not the sucker I once was. Because, you know, the American public and the general populace is really just a bunch of suckers. U.S. unveils new rules on border searches of laptops. The Obama administration unveiled new rules on Thursday for searching computers and other electronic devices when people enter the United States, attempting to address concerns about violating privacy and constitutional rights. At the same time, the Department of Homeland Security defended such searches as necessary to detect information about potential terrorism plots, as well as other crimes such as child pornography and copyright infringement. Notice it's terrorism in the beginning, and then it gets a little less reasonable with child pornography. I mean, no one here's for child porn. If you get caught with the child porn on the computer and you downloaded it, yeah, go to prison. But you notice that the actual people that get convicted of molesting children do almost no time in prison whatsoever. Why is that? Well, that's because the elite are into it, and sometimes they get caught. So you got to have rules that are really, you know, little slap on the wrist rules. But they say child pornography. But notice the last one, and copyright infringement. So this is really a way to look on your computer and see, oh, are you a naughty boy? Did you download some movies you weren't supposed to? Do you have some pictures off of Getty Images? That's copyright infringement. That's terrorism now. This is another way to get into your life, to make you a slave, to say we're searching everything and anything, baby. That's what this is. This has nothing to do about keeping you safe. This is to, you know, dragnet the general populace into criminals. We're not criminals, folks. We're free people, and I hope that we stay that way. We'll be back after this with your phone calls. It's the InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas.
Direct from Austin, coast to coast, and in your face. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
All right, let's hit the phone lines. We're going to go to James, Mike, Greg, Steve, Chuck, Eric, and more. It's 888-201-2244. James in Texas, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Jason.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I really just wanted to kind of give a heads up to people out there. We have a town hall meeting in Richardson, Texas tomorrow evening at the Eisman Center in Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I guess try to get some people that might not be aware to show up for it. And I also had a question on this health care bill, because I'm sitting here trying to kind of wade through it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I don't know the right legalese kind of things that I can search for to try to find the real issues in the bill that
the real damning parts of the bill, correct?
Right,
well,
right. And I'm wondering if you can give me some terms that maybe I can search for to look through.
Sure. I would search for terms like mandatory and compulsory. Those are the ones that they like to slip in there. I would go with let me think. Forced. Listen, I would tell you off the bat, just go over to InfoWars.com and PrisonPlanet.com and search through the archives on the healthcare bill, and they have major excerpts that are the nitty-gritty, the hardcore stuff. And then I would say, if you want to delve even further, go check out the forums, because that's where a lot of the work is done. I mean, we can't do everything here, and there are people that are literally combing through the bill and going through subsection after subsection and hyperlinking it. But I would say go to the article right here. This one's out of late July. It's about a month old now. It's called "What's Really in Obama's Healthcare Reform Bill: A Plain English Translation," and that has a ton of hyperlinks to things that are actually in the bill. Does that help you out, James?
Oh, that helps me out a lot, sir.
You got it. All right. Thank you so much for the call. Let's jump to the next caller, Mike in Illinois. Mike, you're on the air.
Thanks, Jason. This is Mike again. You're about what, 23, I thought? Are you that young?
No, I'm 30, actually. I just had my big 30th birthday.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry about. Well, I can't say when I was your age, but when I was about 25, I used to watch, Faces of Death. That was when the VHSs were around.
No, I've seen it. A lot of that's fake, though, right?
Yeah. But hold on, this isn't fake, because It's like, what I was going to say is, when I am disgusted at watching these electrocutions, right? On whether it's YouTube or in the news, this cop, electrocutes a lady. I'm watching. This is Faces of Death, and yeah, that stuff used to be fake, and it was funny and everything. But you know what? These electrocutions, I don't think this is very funny.
Yeah, and let me be clear. Some of those Faces of Death stuff is for real. But for instance, I'm just pointing it out. Like the guy that gets electrocuted in the first Faces of Death, that's all fake. The woman who jumps out of a building and they show you, her body and then like blood on the sidewalk, that's fake. But like half of the stuff is real. I mean, I think in one of those you actually see somebody eaten by an alligator, and then there's a band series where I literally saw like riot police. There was a bunch of students that were being held hostage by some militant group, right? Well, one of the cops in the black uniforms, and this is a danger, folks. This is really, I hope people see this and this awakens them to reality. The cops in the black uniforms come armed to the teeth. They just gas the place. They don't care about the hostages whatsoever. And this guy, I mean, it must be in Korea or something like that, because obviously he's of Asian descent. He runs out. He was obviously not one of the guys who was, a militant. He was being held captive. He had a backpack on. And he takes a shotgun blast directly to the chest and just dies right in front of everybody, and nothing's done to this cop. This guy just keeps going into the thing like it's nobody's business. They don't care about human rights. And that's what the desensitization is. When you have a system like that in another country and it starts to become acceptable in this country, cops in black uniforms, no oversight whatsoever, that is very dangerous. And when we get to a society where it's funny to see people tased, and let me give you an even better example. Two of the big hit films out there recently, The Hangover, I thought it was hilarious. You see The Hangover yet?
No.
All right. There is a huge section in The Hangover where basically these guys get caught by the cops. They've done something illegal, and they want to work out a deal where they don't have to go to jail and stay in jail over the weekend. So what do the cops do? They pull them into this classroom where these kids are on a field trip, and they allow the kids to tase them. And they just tase them relentlessly. And it's a big, hilarious joke. One guy gets tased in the nuts. The other guy gets tased in the face. Big laughs all around, right? Then you look at Observe and Report. And that's the one with Seth Rogen, the big, comedic movie star that's everywhere these days. And this guy literally is like begging not to be tased. And he just whips it out without a thought and just tases him. And it's supposed to be funny. So that desensitization is going on all over the place. But it's not funny when you see a woman with her kids following orders from her overlord, and he is just so hyped up that he still needs to tase her and then defend himself after the fact. I'm disgusted by it, and I wish that more people were.
One more thing, Jace. One more thing.
Yeah, sure.
One more thing. Okay, when I was your age, I know this for a fact, I was saving money all my life, I mean, I'm at that, I'm like 45, whatever, but I mean, when I was listening to you and Chapman on Friday, it was blowing my mind. I wish to God so much that I knew. See, when I was your age, I mean, I knew about the New World Order. It wasn't out in the open like this now. I mean, I remember there was a book, Tell Brooks, When the World Will Become One. I mean, if I started to tell people about that book, they'd think I was a wacko. I always knew in my heart, that something was going on. I mean, like.